Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. I'm back on the PTR to test out Outlaw Rogues for single target DPS on training dummies. What I'm doing is creating a mock simulation with the same buffs and testing out different talents against one another in the new build. So what the new build for PTR has done is increased everyone's agility and stamina and base stats a little bit, while toned down the secondary stats. So that's what I want to be trying. And I think that Outlaw isn't really going to be getting that many changes in the PTR. Last thing Blizzard said about Outlaw was they don't want to change Roll the Bones chances at all. They want it to be the primary mechanic for the spec, but they might buff Slice and Dice a little bit in order to make it a competitive option. So this kind of tells me with a nail to the coffin that they're probably not going to be changing Outlaw all too much. So I'm going to be testing out on my Rogue. What I decided to do is standardize the test by giving my Outlaw Rogue item level 871 gear up by removing all my legendaries. No legendaries because the numbers come out different. Although do keep in mind that your DPS is going to be higher if you have a legendary. So these numbers just increasing by 20 or 10% more. And those will be your relative numbers on the PTR if you have specific legendaries. But it definitely helps out to have legendaries, so we're not going to beat around the bush. If you have legendaries, you are going to be dealing more damage. It's just for this test, we're going to standardize and take away all legendaries. So let's talk about what is the scenario. We're going to be using the agility potion for 1300 agility. We're going to have a foot buff for versatility and old war potions to start off the pool. I'm rolling with a fully built up artifact weapon for Outlaw Rogue, so I'm going to be able to have an Outlaw Rogue opener with ambush into saber slash, which gives me a guaranteed extra saber slash, which gives me a guaranteed pistol shot for free. So that's about 5 common points that I get to start off with. So I get to use it into Roll the Bones, and if I get a bad roll, mark for death, Roll the Bones. So I'll be able to get myself 2 chances to get a decent buff. Or if I'm rolling Slice and Dice, I simply set all those common points straight into Slice and Dice. Now in this video, what I'm mostly going to be testing are the talents. I'm going to freeze, Alacrity, Dirty Tricks, Cheat Death, and Acrobatic Strike, so I'm not going to move those at all. What I'm going to be testing is Roll the Bones versus Slice and Dice. So in the last stream, I'm going to be choosing between Slice and Dice and Mark for Death to see which one deals more damage. At a level 45 tree, I'm choosing Deepest Strat versus Vigor, and I'm comparing those in terms of DPS. And at the very top of the tree, I'm going with Ghostly Strike, Quick Draw, or Swordmaster to see which one of these talent combinations comes out to be the most amount of DPS, so we can kind of see where most of Outlaw Rogue's damage comes from. And after we run the simulation, I want to talk a little bit about what I thought about some of these talents and what they end up doing for an Outlaw Rogue in terms of single target DPS. So relax, have yourself a beverage as I run through all of the sims, of course sped up because it will take forever to run through everything in full time, but I was able to give all the sims about 4 minutes worth of run at a mock tank and spank fight where you literally get to stand there and dish out as much DPS into a boss for 4 minutes. And then basically I'm coming back with the numbers showing you guys exactly what I thought, so be sure to stick around for the end of the video. So the main question is, what can we determine with what we just saw? Let's talk about Slice and Dice versus Roll the Bones. I feel like Slice and Dice has a decent damage in terms of sustain, but if you lose too much of gangway in terms of your sustain, I feel like it's really hard to recover in terms of DPS. But it works fairly well with Adrenaline Rush and your artifact weapon, even though there's become separate cooldowns. So I feel like Slice and Dice is good in situations where you definitely can stand still, where sustained DPS counts for the most. I think Slice and Dice would end up being the better option for AoE, because you're able to cleave enemies and generate a lot of energy off of them. And I feel like it just would work in terms of where your auto attacks are very much needed. But Roll the Bones allows you the opportunity to lose DPS but gain DPS. So with Roll the Bones, there are chances. I feel like if a fight has low mobility, Roll the Bones comes out to be the better option. And if you are simply lucky, Roll the Bones comes out to be the better option for the chance for the 6 buff where that Slice and Dice is going to provide. In terms of Vigor versus Deeper Strat, I think Vigor just blows Deeper Strat out of water. I don't think there's a lot that can be said. Vigor ends up being a little bit more value in terms of your run-throughs, especially when comboed with the Ghostly Strike, and gives you a little bit more damage and more hits with Saber Slashes, but definitely just overloads them so much energy because it gives you such a high energy pool, but it ends up being a little bit more consistent. Ghostly Strike versus Quick Draw versus Sword Master. I feel like Ghostly Strike is the ability that lets you down in terms of DPS, but can also bring you up, especially when comboed together with Vigor and Roll the Bones. So Ghostly Strike I feel like is going to be the stronger option in most cases. Swordmaster I felt like was specifically good in one scenario, and even then it wasn't all that optimal in my opinion. And then there was Quick Draw, which at first I thought would be really good, but I feel like Quick Draw is basically reserved for anybody who has the legendary for Outlaw Rogues, the green skin cuffs. So if you have the green skin legendary cuffs, definitely should be staying Quick Draw because the damage you're going to be dealing is insane. But otherwise I felt that Ghostly Strike ends up just pulling ahead in most DPS situations. So it's really a Ghostly Strike and Vigor as a definitive option. So it's a question between Roll the Bones or Slice and Dice. Now, what are your thoughts, guys, on the DPS numbers? What did you think about Roll the Bones? What did you think about Slice and Dice? Were you surprised by any of the numbers or not quite? Let me know all that in the comments below, and which one would you go? Ghostly Strike, Vigor, Roll the Bones, or Ghostly Strike, Vigor, Slice and Dice? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to give this video a goddamn like, because YouTubers, especially with the Warcraft ones, just don't get enough action in their videos. So the more action we can get, the more our videos can get out to the rest of the world. So if you guys were to throw a comment and a like on the video, I would definitely appreciate it. But if you're the real MVP, go ahead and favorite this bitch, just because. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Dal. I'll see all of you in the next one.